Have you ever wondered why?
When?
How much?
What if?
Well, you're in luck, because you're listening to the Hypotheticast.
3 best buds.
On a mission.
To ask all the questions?
And get all the answers.
I was born with both guns blazing, and I do think I'm amazing. You got the dignity to feel a little about yourself. I don't care what your preacher says. I got my own vicious ways. Only got one command and it goes, I'm killing it. I'm killing it.
Oh, bam.
Hello.
Hello.
Welcome.
Hi. That was the sound of a podcast beginning.
The birth of a podcast episode.
Ta-da.
A miracle. My name
The
is Emily.
miracle.
My name is Mike.
My name is The Miracle.
Great.
And this is the final episode. Maybe.
Of the Hypotheticast?
No, of the sense theme series that
Yeah.
we've been doing.
Taste.
Taste.
Save
Sweet, sweet
the
taste.
best for last.
Yeah?
Nah,
Yeah. Yeah.
Not really.
Yeah, not really.
It adds a lot to life.
I do,
Sure
but
does.
it is, I think, second to smell, probably the one you could live without the easiest.
Totally.
Yeah.
I would survive. It wouldn't be as happy of a life,
Right.
but I would survive. Absolutely. I'd be okay.
My cousin, one of her best friends, had, I think it was just like wisdom tooth surgery or something.
Mm-hmm.
And they accidentally severed like a major nerve pathway or something. Maybe it wasn't wisdom tooth surgery, but it was something like normal. And she like lost most of her sense of taste.
Whoa.
And it was like incredibly difficult
Yeah.
for a couple of years because it's just sad. And it's hard then to eat.
Yeah.
It's hard to force yourself to eat.
Right. Because our biology is like, it tricks us so good. It's like, yeah, we need that stuff, but also it is so fun to need.
The other interesting observation that I have about the sense of taste, I think I've said this probably like 200 times so far on this podcast, that I'm very texture
Yes.
sensitive. So that's an interesting thing about this, because this sense is just taste.
Yeah.
But I feel like the experience of eating
Right.
combines those two senses.
Wow.
So it's different for me to just try to isolate that taste factor.
I think it's all senses. I mean, I like
That's
colorful.
true.
I like colorful
That's
food.
true. That's true. And
Like
you
if I
smell
had
it. That's a big part of
a
taste.
gray pizza when I was eating the
Yeah.
pizza. I was doing an exercise in brainstorming for writing for my students, and there's a great series on Netflix called Brain. I can't remember the name of it, but it's like a science show, kind of for kids. But they did a senses episode, and they did this whole thing where they were serving cafeteria foods that were normally like would have been fine, but they served like brownies in a diaper and like
Oh,
a
yeah.
hot dog made up to like a severed finger.
Yeah.
and like
Oh, see, that sounds
It was
awesome.
more for comedy, but of course, like it was just gross. Like even though the food itself is the exact same thing and smells the same, tastes the same,
Sight.
The presentation.
it's nasty.
So, yeah, you look at
That's
food,
funny.
and then you touch food with your mouth.
You smell
You
food.
smell food. You hear food when it crunches in or sloshes
Oh,
around.
that feels like the least.
Definitely
I don't
the
think
least
hearing
important.
food.
Yeah.
that-
For some people, mouth noises are a huge deal.
That's a good point.
And maybe even for themselves. I don't know, but for some people, like hearing someone else chew is like, get out of this room right now. I hate
but
that.
that's
so
less
much.
about the experience of eating.
That's
for
true.
you.
It is for you, but I wonder if those people also like have
Get
to
annoyed
eat-
by their own.
Yeah, if they like smack their own lips too much, if it bothers them. I don't know. Usually that's not the case, but you never know.
I don't think you know.
I think all 5.
Pop Rocks.
I was just thinking about them.
Yeah,
Those
Pop
are
Rocks
fun.
are fun
Those are fun,
because
right?
you hear them.
They never really took off the way that certain trends do in food. Like there's certain food trends that happen and everybody's doing
Yes.
like artisanal. Like, but Pop Rocks for a while, I feel like there were like Pop Rock shakes and there's a Pop Rocks candy bar.
sure.
But I would eat Pop Rocks on
Is
pretty
there
much
still
anything.
a Pop Rocks candy bar?
Trader
I'm
Joe's
intrigued.
had one.
Oh,
Shout out to
okay.
Trader Joe's.
Yes.
I didn't
Yes.
see it last time I was there, and I looked everywhere.
I feel like Pop Rocks was kind of like one of those candies in the 90s where it was like you felt kind of like maybe it was close to the experience of drugs.
It did feel a
Yeah,
little
yeah,
bit.
Because like you and your friends would be
yes.
like, "Do you want some Pop Rocks?"
Hey, you want
and it
a
was
pop?
like, "Well, no, you can't give it to her because she's too little. She won't like them."
little.
It'll
Yeah,
keep
you know what I
happening
mean? Like
to
a
you?
5-year-old doesn't want Pop Rocks.
I do remember
But, like,
stories about
you can-
people like, oh, this person ate like 6 packs and their head exploded.
Yeah,
the,
don't
the Diet
mix
Coke
it
and
with
Pop
pop,
Rocks
yep.
thing.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
people were
Yeah.
like, oh my God. Even though that's a very easily testable thing. And also, but it was, you know,
People
we
love
grew up up in like the dawn of the internet when like people were just like, how do we verify facts? Like I read a story on the internet, so it's probably true.
Ask the kid at the back of your bus. Yeah. He knows.
Oh, he knows
who
everything.
Once ate crayons and then pooped rainbow. According to him.
I mean, honestly, that actually is feasible. if you ate a bunch of crayons.
Your head exploding from Pop Rocks.
Because you will poop out those crayons, hopefully. Ooh. I don't know. All right, cool. So that's a lot of good food mythology out there, I think.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah. So we have a segment on the Hypotheticast. This one is called Would You Rather? We made it up. Don't steal it from us.
It's true.
Now, we like to send out to our fans and get suggestions of Would You Rathers. We didn't get a lot this week for this one. I'm going to put them in our document to use, which I should also mention, if your suggestion does not get used, we save them all and use them on perhaps later segments. Yeah. So if you don't hear yours used, don't worry. It might resurface later, like a whale breaching the surface of the ocean. Boosh. I decided to go scouring the internet for Would You Rathers about food. I found a few different resources, neither of which have great questions, but I really want to run these by you because I think they're funny.
Yes, great.
This one is from Freeform, which... I think
it's a network?
It's a network. I don't know why. Maybe it's from a show. There's a show called Young and Hungry. Oh, I don't know. It looks like it's a weight loss show. I don't like that. Anyway, it's called The Hardest Game of Food Would You Rather You Will Ever Play.
Oh, okay. Well, here we go.
Reading the questions, I don't know if it's that hard. Here's number one. Would you rather give up carbs for a month or give up dairy for a month?
Carbs.
Yeah, that is a pretty easy one. Carbs.
Okay, carbs too.
I mean, it would suck.
Yeah. Sure, both of those would suck.
Eat a lot of carbs.
I like carbs a lot.
But like cheese and ice cream are two of the great joys of my life.
Two of the great joys.
I think I would actually learn a lot if I gave up carbs for a month, because I think I would learn how many carbs are in every foods that I like to eat.
Sure.
Like I think even beans have like carbohydrates in them.
Oh, sure.
And like
some veggies.
Not being able to eat like rice and beans that derails my life in a major way because that's half of the meals that I eat.
Is Whole30 no carbs?
Yes. And no bean.
My parents and sister did it a few years ago and my dad was so angry. And he's like a pretty chill guy, but he was like, I can't eat beans.
Yes, that was my
exact reaction. He was so mad.
I need to commiserate with Terry about how it's an anti-bean agenda. He was
pretty
Whole30.
Pretty furious.
How is a bean bad for you? Whole30.
Right.
Tell me. Anyway, this isn't dunk on Whole30 time. Yeah. I just love dairy. I'd be a lot less healthy though if I eliminated carbs and only ate dairy because I'd just be eating a lot of cheese and ice cream.
I'd be like, I can't put cheese on carbs, so I guess I'll just put cheese on more cheese.
Cheese on a bowl of milk and cheese.
Yeah, what would I try? Because I can't put it on a cracker. I can't put it. I'd put
it on meat.
I'd put it on apples. I love apples
cheese
and cheese.
With fruit
that's pretty good. Yeah.
Apples and cheese.
Cheese and meat. Sure.
And meat,
I mean, I'd probably get but gluten-free stuff has carbs in it still, right?
Veggies. Some veggies.
Oh, yeah, there's some veggies.
You can have broccoli. Cheesy broccoli.
Cheesy broccoli's great. You make a cheesy broccoli soup.
I'd just eat pure cheese.
Pure cheese.
I'm just trying to. Cheese on a carrot sounds bad.
Yeah, I don't think that's ever been
What
tried.
if you could wrap it up though, like a corn dog?
Oh, you know what you could have? You could have those those pickle roll things.
Pickle rolls. Oh, that's good.
Yeah. Extra cream cheese slathered on.
Cheese. You could have a lot of sushi. Nope.
Yeah.
Carbs and rice.
Unless you just had veggies.
The rice is made of shredded cheese. All right. Sushi with just cheese on cheese.
I love that supplement. Like instead of like cauliflower rice, it's cheese rice.
Like, no, I'm eating healthy. No carbs, baby.
Okay, so that was the first question. Here's the next one on the hardest Would You Rather food game you will ever play.
So hard so far.
This is number 2. Would you rather never eat another cake pop again or never eat another truffle again?
Oh, cake pop.
For sure, cake pop. I actually think those are kind of bullshit.
Yeah, they're kind of boring.
I just had them at a wedding I was at last night and they were great.
They're fine, but here's what they are. Like, I'm like, just give me cake.
Bust it open, baby.
Because here's what they are. You literally make cake and then you have the frosting and then you crumble up the cake and you mix it with some frosting and then you make it into balls and then you dip them in frosting. So it's just like a lot of work for a very small amount of cake that you already just made. So you could have just put the frosting on the cake, given people pieces of cake, which are better and more.
Better and more.
but less like takeable and carryable.
I
right?
guess.
Like, that's the
well, and I
argument,
think
right? Is they're
probably
on a
just like
stick.
less adorable.
Yeah, that too.
I think cake pops are cake for the Instagram generation, right? It's more about the presentation than the experience.
I guess,
because you
but-
eat it, it's like pop, gone.
Right.
But you're right. You could make a whole cake in the time it takes to make like one cake pop.
Yeah, and cakes are beautiful. And
Cakes are beautiful.
Can be like, I feel like there's so much more creative stuff you can do with an actual cake. A cake pop, you can like make it a koala or some shit. I don't know.
That's pretty cool. I like the part of me
planet.
that doesn't want to clean up likes cake pops because I mean there's probably more cleanup in the process of making them.
Yeah.
But then you don't need a plate or a fork. You just need the pop and then it's gone. Done. What if it was cake pop rocks? Then it could be that would be
I
pretty
think
good.
I've had a cake pop.
That'd be
with
pretty
that
good.
feels like something that would happen.
That
Yeah.
It was
must
nice.
be real. Yeah, I don't think I like cake pops that enough.
No.
When cake also exists, truffles don't really exist in like another form.
Not
a
really.
truffle is a very specific experience.
They're kind of like fudge, I guess.
yeah, and a little
Yeah.
bit like you can make like a big torte that tastes
Yeah.
kind of like a truffle with like very melty dark chocolate or something.
Melty.
But a truffle, you pop it in your mouth.
And that feels
It's-
like more like an art. Like there are like
Yeah.
chocolatiers who make truffles that are like amazing and so thought out, and like the combination of flavors. I just think that's
Yeah, it's
not
more
that
like a
I eat
luxury
a lot of
good.
those, but yeah, it's a luxury good, so that means I'm into it.
You love luxury.
It's not like
goods.
a watered down version of another thing you already like.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Let's see. This is mostly, it gets into like, would you rather not be allowed to eat pancakes with syrup or pancakes with whipped cream? Which is a silly question
How is
to
this
me.
the hardest?
Yeah, I don't know. It's like, I guess
They
I
just
don't
have
have
to
to have
say
whipped
that.
cream.
Yeah.
But
I
I just
wanna
want to
say
read
it's the
one more from it
easiest
because I think it's really funny.
boring. Okay.
Would you rather have to give up breakfast pastries or have to give up dinner pastries?
Wait, what's a dinner
I don't know. That's
pastry?
my question. The picture is of like pizza rolls, not
That's a
not
dinner
pizza
pastry?
rolls, but like
like crescent rolls in one of those
crescent
Pillsbury
rolls,
tubes.
but with like pizza.
Yeah. Oh,
So
those
that's
are
like a
cinnamon rolls.
80s mom recipe.
Yeah, like you find it in the Biscuit cookbook.
Like you get the Pillsbury
Those are
dough
pretty
and then you
good.
make it into
I do
things.
like
They're
those
good,
a lot.
but I've literally not had one in maybe
Yeah.
my whole life.
Okay, so let's think about other things that could be considered breakfast pastry. What
No,
about
a
a
dinner pastry?
calzone? A dinner pastry, yeah, sorry.
a calzone or a pizzone.
Or a pizzone.
I don't think a pizzone. The P doesn't stand for pastry zone.
Pastry zone.
Pastry zone. Come on
Classing
in.
it up.
What else? What else could be a dinner pastry? I just want to
dinner
make sure we're not
pastry.
forgetting anything.
I mean, a
What
dinner.
about like a pie?
A pot pie?
Yeah, a pot
pot
pie.
pie.
That's a pastry crust.
no,
Yeah.
I think we could qualify that.
Yeah?
Are
Okay.
pies pastries? Sure.
Why not? I bet the baker would
Sure.
say no, but you know what? We
They
say
use a
But
yes.
I'm
pastry
trying to give this
crust.
question
Yeah.
a little bit more. Like, I want to
Yeah,
make sure we
like-
put everything in the category
Yeah,
of
'cause
dinner
breakfast
pastry.
pastries, I know.
Absolutely.
That'd be a pasty.
I know them
Is a
well.
pasty a
Oh,
pastry?
sure. Yep. That
They just
British,
took out some letters.
the British, like pot pie that you hold in your hands.
Yeah. Those are fun.
Hand pie also. called.
Empanada?
Sure.
Empanadas.
Empanadas?
Yeah,
are great.
sambusas.
I actually
Other
love-
cultures
Yes.
maybe have more
Yes,
of this
yes,
than
yes.
we do.
That's maybe
You guys
fair.
are being very
actually.
Western with this question.
I love empanadas.
It's a very like
All
a
those
dinner
pictures are-
pastry, I guess, if we're thinking about it like that, is a very like kind of country, kind of what do we have in the kitchen? Okay, let's like bake this dough and put some of the leftover stew in it.
I would give up the breakfast pastries just so I could be forced to discover more dinner pastries.
I would
yeah.
never
What's
give
out
up
there?
breakfast pastries. That would break my heart.
But like donuts don't count as breakfast pastries. Like donuts
Why
are not
not?
pastries,
Oh,
right?
they're not? I don't know.
I don't think
Those-
they
they're
are.
like
Empanada's a
they're
pastry.
baked goods.
Empanada is a different kind of crust than a donut. Donuts are fried. Like they're not made like a pastry.
pastry is like pastry dough, so like croissants, which
Yeah.
that in and of
Okay.
itself would make it difficult for me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Croissants. Oh, what are those other things made with like the flaky?
The Danishes?
That's what I was thinking of with cheese in the middle.
Yeah.
A Danish.
Why did you say it like that?
cheese in the middle?
Okay.
I don't know. Why not?
So anyway, that's the kind of question we have further down on this, the hardest quiz ever about
Pretty
food.
hard. I'm just intrigued by dinner pastries, and now I really want empanadas. I want that taste.
I also found a site called www.rrather.com. And there are a lot of user submitted questions. Would you rather?
good.
This one I like. It was submitted by Shady 7 years ago.
Shady.
That's their name. Would you rather be forced to drink everything like a dog or be forced to eat all your food without using any type of forks, spoons, or knives? So you can't use any utensils, or you got to drink everything like a dog, which we'll say is in a bowl off the floor.
Everything. So not just liquids.
It says drink everything. I'm going to say any drinks. Like
Any
if you're going to
beverage,
drink
yeah.
something,
Sounds
you
better.
got to drink it from a bowl on the
Okay.
floor.
or eat everything without.
I also don't
utensils.
like that it says be forced to. Like, I feel like that's someone I'm like, how about that's just it? Like, you're just going to do it. No one's.
You're not chained up in a basement.
Yeah, it sounds nasty.
They're just being honest about the impetus behind Would You Rather.
Yeah,
like,
you have to choose.
There's a wizard or a witch behind every one.
Yeah, there is a force compelling you.
Yeah.
But you got to choose. So what do you think?
Dog.
Dog?
Yeah.
Okay.
That sounds pretty fun. Because utensils are pretty important.
Yeah,
to
I
me.
feel like if you go with the food one, no utensils, you immediately eliminate large chunks of foods.
Well, do you?
I
Because
mean,
now
you
that
could
I'm thinking
still
about it,
do
you can
it.
eat with your hands.
guess.
Like
You can eat a steak with your hands. It's just that you got to
No, I know, but
with
like,
my hands.
I feel like
Soup,
it'd be
I guess I couldn't.
easier to eat like a steak or something. I'm thinking like, pasta.
Pasta.
That would be a tricky one. It can be done.
It can be.
I've seen it
and
done at
I'd do it
church
because I
camp.
love pasta.
Yeah. Yeah, I could do the pasta, soup, but you could just like kind of drink it and then pick out the big bits. There would be some foods that wouldn't be as good without utensils.
Yes.
But
And
there
also
would be
just,
some
like-
drinks that wouldn't be as good if you had to lap them up like a dog. So
Yeah,
It's
but
also
also
like
'cause-
more disruptive to like your life, I think. Like having to drink everything off the ground. Like,
See, I disagree because you could just refrain from drinking. So you could go out to eat with your friends,
yeah.
And then
eat
drink
like
later.
normal, and then go home and just
But I'm thinking
lap
like
it up.
I work.
Just
So I
lap
work.
it up.
I work during the work day. I need to eat my lunch.
Yeah.
I need to drink during the day, and it's good to
Yeah.
drink on other times that aren't. It's you got to keep hydrated. If I'm going to do that, especially I work at a school where I can't just like I don't have a private office.
No, I got you, Mike. I got you.
What am I going to do?
So you have a desk, right? Right.
Sure.
Okay. So what you do is you wear shoes that you intentionally untie a lot or come untied a lot. And then you're like teaching the class and you're like, all right, so
The desk
A
is not as private as you're
is
imagining.
the first alphabet letter. Okay, you got that? All right, give me a second. I got to tie my shoe. And then you have a little dog bowl down
they're
there,
gonna
and you tie
spend-
the shoe, and you're like, lap, lap, lap. And then you stand back up, and you're just refreshed. You're ready to go. Teach them about B.
I don't think that's
I
going to
think
work.
that'll work. I
don't
think you got
so.
this.
The thing is, I think that you could pack foods in your lunch or find more foods that you can eat without utensils.
Yeah.
Then you could adapt to having to
I
drink
guess
everything off
that's
the
true.
ground.
Like at most restaurants, I'm thinking about restaurants here, like going out with your
Yeah.
friends. You could find something on the menu that it wouldn't be weird for you to eat with your hands.
burgers are fine. You don't need a utensil to
Yeah.
eat sandwiches or burgers, and that's like
Burritos.
everywhere.
And some cultures just eat more with their hands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing that would suck about drinking all beverages like a dog is that like dogs literally have like huge tongues that act like
We have little
spoons.
tongues.
And so
don't.
they are able to like get a lot of water in their mouth. We would not be able to.
Yeah.
That would suck.
We'd have to have a very flat bowl or just like constantly be refilling the
Yeah.
container from which we are lapping up. And yeah, they're not sticky. They're not as good at being a scoop.
Right.
Our tongues are just like flat little, I don't know, little
Slabs.
spatulas just poking out there. They don't get anything.
How does your tongue work?
It just sticks out. It's a binary
You
thing.
just
It's out or it's in.
Yeah, it's like a toy doll's tongue. It's like
When you push my belly button, it comes out, and when you let go, it goes back in. That's it.
Okay, let's do one last question from this site. This is from user OnageOK. 8 years ago, they posted, would you rather eat 20 potatoes or drink 2 liters of Coca-Cola?
Wait. I assume like at once.
I'm going to say in,
'Cause otherwise that's not that
in a
hard.
day.
Are the
Let's say-
potatoes cooked?
It doesn't say. The picture is of cheesy broccoli potatoes.
Okay, then I'm going to say yes.
Sure.
That's a lot of potatoes.
That is too many potatoes, I think,
a
in
lot of
one day is what we're
One day,
saying.
we'll say. That seems reasonable, but also
could
not
do it.
easy.
I'd rather do that one because I'd cook them all different.
Yeah,
I don't
especially
think
if you
I
can
could.
prepare them.
I just like my
You'd be
stomach.
done.
I get full fast, especially right now,
Right.
because there's a literal baby
There's
in
an
there, like
actual
making
baby.
my
Your
Baby
stomach
isn't,
small.
like eating some of that too
I
to
mean, I
take care
think
of it.
she is, but like it,
You never
I
know.
just still like I'm hungry all the time now. But like I've noticed that even when I'm super hungry, I get full pretty fast, so I have to eat like small amounts a lot of times. I'd have to do the soda one, which would still be very hard because that's a lot. But if I could spread it out over a day,
Yeah.
I would pee a lot.
Right. That's not so bad.
Yeah, you'd have to have
be
Coke
pretty
for
easy.
breakfast.
Yeah.
Some people do that with cereal.
I think that's good.
Yeah.
I think we've covered every single possible topic of would you rather's based on food.
That was the hardest one I've ever done. Next up on this show is the meat It's where we talk about a question or maybe some questions that are a little bit more open-ended and a little bit more personal. Sometimes deeper, sometimes just more specific. This week, I'm in charge. I'm the meat handler. And we're gonna do a lot like we did last week, where there aren't some extremely deep taste questions that are really going to rock our world where we could talk about them for 5 minutes. So instead, we're going to do a few open-ended questions that I have composed. My first one for y'all is, if you could create a spray that had a taste that you liked, that you could spray into your mouth at any time, what kind of taste would you want that to be? Like those mouth freshener sprays like Icebreakers makes or whatever that are minty? What if you could just take any taste, like the taste of potatoes, like baked potato, or the taste of a leaf, or, probably not that one.
I think this exists.
Yeah.
I had a friend who was obsessed with it. He had like a cake spray.
Cake spray.
And he would just
Sounds great.
go like huff it in his kitchen.
Huff it?
No, he wasn't huffing it. But like I remember like seeing him sprayed into his mouth, and I was like, what are you doing? And he's like, it's cake. And I was like,
it's cake. Well, that's
why?
misleading.
I mean, the thing is, like, because taste they can make in a lab, like, it doesn't have calories.
Right. That's
But I
the
think it's
idea,
marketed as like there were different varieties, like you could spray on your food to give it flavor.
Oh.
So I think this does exist.
Sweet.
Probably not for all flavors.
I bet not for all flavors.
But yeah, I remember it being a thing, and probably still is, because everything's
Somewhere.
out there.
Yeah.
I am just going to go ahead and say that this does not excite me at all.
That's actually was my second thing, is that because what you said earlier about texture of food,
Yes.
the pleasure of eating does not just come from the taste.
Right.
Like if I want to taste a burger, I want to eat a burger,
Right.
and not have a burger like mist in my mouth.
Exactly. And the times that I do want just a little burst of flavor is generally when I'm wanting a mint or something like that. So I can think of two situations in which I would want something like this. One would be like a minty, sort of refreshing. Although I'm not crazy about super strong mints, so maybe my favorite kind of gum is the Orbit Sweet Mint. some buzz marketing there for you.
Nice.
So I would probably do like a milder mint. The only other thing I can think of is like a little burst of like sour sweet candy taste, because that's like a good taste, and it is somehow okay if it's just like in a little burst, a little bit like juice or something.
Right.
But I still don't quite understand the appeal of having like just a spray of flavor in your mouth for anything else.
I think the candy thing is for sure where my mind went.
Yeah.
Because when I suck on a candy, I'm not really super enjoying that I'm sucking on it. I'm getting the taste
Right, it's
out
the
of
flavor,
it. I want
mainly.
the flavor in my mouth. And so if I could just go and then have that flavor kind of hanging out in my mouth for like 5 minutes or something, that sounds great.
But you wouldn't do like pizza or something.
I would try pizza for sure. I'd be intrigued. I think those sorts of things would actually be like your friend. You're saying he sprayed it in his mouth and he said, it's cake. It's like, great. But I think that would just make me want to actually eat cake.
Yeah.
I don't think it would help me feel like, oh, that was a delicious piece of cake that I ate.
Yeah.
I think the tastes that I would want would mostly be candy related, because that's when I just want the taste of sugar or the taste of like a Sour Patch Kid hanging out of my mouth.
I think, what if you took the flavor that you wanted to taste, you didn't want to eat food at the moment, and you made it into like a small, maybe rectangular or small thing that you could chew on for a while. What do you think about that idea?
It'd be better. I would definitely I would be more interested in pizza that was that than pizza that was a spray.
Wouldn't that just be like pizza flavored gum?
That's what I was saying.
Right.
Okay. A small rectangle.
Something I just thought of that we'll call gum. No, because that's what they do with gum. Like they have, I have many flavors of gum, because gum is a good way of getting that flavor, but also having the pleasure of chewing on something, which actually is kind of nice, even though it's obviously you're not chewing on an actual pineapple. Like chewing on something that kind of tastes like pineapple is kind of fun sometimes.
Yeah, I don't really understand why I like chewing gum so much, honestly.
Yeah.
It is like satisfying, though.
I think it's a mental thing. It's like, thinking putty. That's a thing that people like to do as a sensory thing. I just think gum has a similar effect. Like I think chewing on gum maybe is a stress relief thing or something like that.
Something to do.
That makes sense.
I did think of something. What about like spicy? Like, and here's why I want that. Because a hot sauce like comes in a bottle. You can put it on something, but I often get very worried that I've put too much on one area of something and not enough on the other one, because the dispensers on hot sauce bottles are drippy. Usually it comes out as a drip. So sometimes there's like 5 drips on one part of my burger and like a little bit. If it's not something I can mix together, I have accidentally spiced a different portion. What if it was just a spray?
Yeah.
And I could just spray the whole meal with just a little bit of spicy. Solve my problem. No
that
more
makes
black
some
pepper
sense.
grinders. It's just a black pepper spray.
That makes sense.
Be kind of cool. Pepper spray. I invented pepper spray.
Yeah, you did it.
That's
Pepper
what that
spray
is,
and
right?
gum. You heard it here
Just tastes
first.
good. My next question is, if you had a job that was tasting a specific sort of food over and over and ranking it or reviewing it or something like that, what kind of food would you want that to be? This is your 9 to 5. You taste every kind of this food.
We were studying occupations in my beginning EL class. Ooh. And I like to put up a picture at the beginning of class that the kids like write a sentence or two about. Mm-hmm. And I was trying to think, I was like, what can I put pictures of? And then I started to think of like weird jobs that we don't think about. And there was like a cartoon I found about an ice cream tester. Mm-hmm. And I just put it up because like, that's a job you don't really think exists until you think, and like, I guess someone does have to do that.
Yeah.
Right? And they actually thought through it. They were like, that would be great. And then they were like, but like, would it?
Exactly.
Because that's all you have to do.
Maybe sick of it.
Mm-hmm.
Ice cream isn't special anymore.
Yeah.
And you'd have to save room in your stomach. So if you found a flavor you really liked, you couldn't just go to town on it.
I mean,
you couldn't just go to town. I mean, you could maybe get it a discount
later
on it and take it home, but
I'm sure you get a discount on the product that you're testing all day long. I hope. If not, like, geez. But a lot of food critics like spit out food, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's a thing.
Or
they'll like
tasters, I think.
Tasters.
Yeah, like wine.
They'll taste everything and then they'll like spit.
I remember seeing the movie version of the musical State Fair, I think it is, and they're doing the pickle tasting contest.
Ooh. And
they were doing like a spritz of something.
To like cleanse
in between.
their mouth.
And I remember as a kid being like, what?
Was it pizza?
No, it wasn't a spritz of pizza. I don't think it would be pickles for me.
No, pickles seem like a bold choice. That's like a lot of flavor.
A lot of
day
brine.
Long. Yeah.
It is really tough. And I think, again, the first place my mind went to was something like a kind of candy, but that would be so sweet. It would be so much sugar. Other kinds of foods that I really like, pasta or pizza, that would just be so much
There's
food.
a lot of variety especially within pizza, but that's just a lot of food to have to like try to eat.
Donut
would be okay.
You take a bite of a donut.
And there's so many different kinds.
Bug.
Are you saying a bug flavored donut?
No, bug. I want to be bug taster.
Okay.
That's
seems
what I
right.
want.
You got it.
I want to be it.
You're the job. You got
Sign
the job.
contract here.
Yes. Okay.
Bug taster.
Yeah, because I'm excited about bug food. I want to learn about the cutting edge of what we're doing with bug.
I don't know that there's a lot to taste just yet.
Yeah.
There's a decent amount.
I feel like they might be like, oh God, David still has 20 hours left this week.
Yeah,
it may crush up some spiders and cross our fingers. They're not going to kill him.
Yeah, I might die is the thing.
Yeah. Can we do a quick sidebar here where I want to just talk about the first humans or first living things, not necessarily humans, I guess, that were tasting everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, I always think
that
about
is a fun concept.
Like the first, like what are things that we can eat and things we cannot eat?
Right.
And how before those things developed, before like instinctual, you know how like animals will know. They just like know, I'm not supposed to eat the thing that's shaped like that.
Yeah.
I don't know how they know it. Mm-hmm. But like the first ones that were like, I don't know, there's a lot of shit around me right now and I got to eat something. So.
Oh, man. And the poor things that were like, we figured it out. Mushrooms are so good. And then they found like really poisonous ones. And they were like, every one of my family, try this dish I've made for you. And then they all died. Like, because they were like, mushrooms are good. I figured it out.
Maybe unicorns were going to really exist for real, but then they all ate poisonous mushrooms one day.
They had a mushroom festival and
I
they all died.
There's a Far Side cartoon about that.
That seems right.
Honestly, you could say that about just about everything. I love that Gary.
He's good.
Oh, sweet Gary.
Sweet Gary.
But anyway, back to your question, the taste testing one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Like
think?
donuts seems
Donuts
like you
is a
take a
pretty
bite
good
of a
option.
donut.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. Maybe, I mean, in order for it to be a safe job, if it was a filling thing, you'd probably be able to like limit.
Oh, yeah.
They wouldn't be like, all right, every 5 minutes you better have a bite.
They're not like torturing you with food. No, that
so
can't
I could
be
pick
what it is.
something like pasta.
Sure.
I wouldn't be like eating myself to death. I would maybe get sick of it, but there's enough variety in there.
Would you want it to be pasta dishes that were like for Olive Garden, or like pasta, like cooked pasta without any flavoring?
Oh, that would be sad. Although
nasty.
I do really like different kinds of bread. No, let's just say I am like the premier Italian food critic or something, and so people just send me freshly cooked meals from all their restaurants all over the world.
What I like is that you said they're going to send them to you.
Yeah, how is this happening?
No, they come.
excited.
I have a house, a mansion with a big professional kitchen, and all the really good restaurants from all over the world. The chefs come to make me food every day just so that I can try their food and tell them what I think.
What a scenario you've weaved for us.
Yeah. That got really exciting. I was above and beyond.
I always picture taste testers' jobs to be like, you're sitting in a completely white room, and then there's like a hole in the wall that opens up and they throw a donut through, and then you have to take a bite, and then there's two chutes, and there's one that's like a green check mark and one that's a red X, and you just throw it through whichever one you like
it's
better.
very dystopic. It's not at all a happy
It's
place
like
to work.
Portal.
Yeah. For some reason, I always picture it like the I Love Lucy episode where she's shoving candy
On a
in her
conveyor
mouth. On a
belt?
conveyor belt. I always imagine sitting in a chair by a conveyor belt, and the food comes past you, and you have to like taste each one and then like say what you think, which is absurd because like why would you want to rush somebody that was giving their opinion? But that's what I picture. I want to ask you one more question, and you get to give a one-word answer.
Oh my
God.
Or two if it's a compound word or something. That's fine.
Can it be a hyphenate?
Yes.
Yes.
What would you like your kisses to taste like? Just kisses, not like your mouth. Just when you kiss someone, this is what they taste.
Beef. Did I choose bad? Is that a bad one?
Honestly, that might be good.
Water?
Water.
I mean, I don't want my kisses to have a distinct flavor. That's weird.
Water and beef.
Water and beef. Bug.
On this next segment, which is a segment that we call Would You Blanket, one of us comes up with a scenario that includes a phrase, would you, let me insert word here, it, and another person is the subject, and they answer that question, and then we tweak the scenario further, and it leads us on a scary, fun adventure, usually. So today, I am going to posit to David, would you taste it? Or eat it. Maybe eat it.
Taste it or eat it.
Yeah. Would you put it in your mouth?
Would you put it in your mouth?
Teeth up and down.
Would you consume it?
So one of your friends, think of a friend that you have generally positive feelings about. Spending time with them is great, and you also trust them.
Okay, cool.
They have won a dinner for two at this hot new restaurant in town. And it is like getting so much like buzz. Everybody's like, oh my gosh, have you heard about it? But it's like pretty expensive, and it's very mysterious. Like press isn't like saying much about it, and they're like, I can't because it'll ruin it. Like we can't even tell you like what kind of food it is.
Oh, that's
and
so
it's
exciting.
also a like multi-course. So it's like a whole evening. It's an experience. You don't really know much about it, but your friend is like, I won this like dinner for two. Will you come with me? So you go there. The maitre d', which is totally a thing that still happens, says like, all right, I'm going to take you to your table. But just so you know, if at any point you decline to eat one of the courses, you have to leave and you can never come back.
You can never come back.
Never.
It's so offensive to say no that.
Yeah, and it will
done.
ruin the experience.
Yeah.
And
Like
your
you
friend
have to
will be
experience
expelled
the
as
whole
well.
thing.
Oh no, my friend.
And they'll take your picture and put it on the wall of shame.
They don't have a wall of like our favorite guests. Like these people can never return
Right.
because they're wimps and cowards.
It's a super
Right.
classy place that has a wall of shame.
Yeah, you know. Cool. I'm excited
So that's
about that.
the scenario.
That's great.
I'm just going to give you the first thing.
Okay, cool.
So they lead you to this like beautiful little, it's like a library, a little nook. It's candlelit. It's lovely.
Wow.
And the first thing they do is there are these beautiful crystal glasses on the table, and someone comes in with a bucket that looks like it is full of gray mop water. And they ladle up and put it in the glass, and then they leave.
Wait, okay, hold on. I have a question. Is it a mop bucket?
Yes.
Oh my God.
It's like gray with like little things floating in it and some soap bubbles.
Soap
Wow.
bubbles. So it's not like oh, this could be a different food. It's straight up.
I mean, I don't know. They don't give
water.
you any explanation.
Oh my God. Okay. Oh, that is tough. And I am sitting at the table and I can't say no to this thing. I can't avoid eating it because if I do, they kick me out of the restaurant.
Immediately.
You done.
And forever.
Wall
Yep.
of shame.
And you're on the wall
I
of
get
shame.
shamed. I would try it.
Okay.
Like I can down a sip of a lot of things. I assume I don't have to consume the whole thing, or maybe I do.
Let's say half.
Half.
Half
Okay.
is the rule.
Half is the rule.
Yeah.
Man, I would try.
Okay.
I would do my best because again, I trust my friend, but more than that, a lot of food critics have said that this place is really good and didn't die. And so like I assume I will also not die if I drink this. What pretty sure is mop water. Like actually, I would consume it.
All right. You chug that mop water and it actually tastes really good.
Oh, that's what I thought.
Like weirdly enough, it still tastes like what you would expect mop water to taste like,
but good.
But you actually enjoy the experience. It's like culinary magic has been worked on this mop water. You know the feeling of just mopping a floor completely clean, and it's just like shiny and sparkly, and it
It's
looks
like
great.
satisfying.
It's like that
Yes.
feeling, but in a taste.
Yeah. Great. That's amazing.
Next course. Out
Ready.
comes on wheels on a big cart through that mysterious door. Chilled monkey brains. Straight out of Temple of Doom. Still sitting in the monkey's head.
Yes.
They set it
Oh,
down in
no.
front of you. Everybody gets their own monkey head. And they're nice, chilled, just exposed monkey brains.
Their little eyes are looking at you.
They're
Their
looking
lifeless
at you.
Their
eyes.
eyes were looking at me.
I guess
Absolutely.
you're free to turn the face of the monkey whichever way. That's your choice.
Yes.
But you do have to eat at least half of that monkey's
And you
brain.
did make eye contact with the dead
Yeah.
eyes
Yeah.
for at
Dead
least
eyes.
10
Well,
seconds.
They are
definitely,
open.
I turn it to face my friend.
You did this to me.
Yeah, and I make it winking. I close one of its eyes. And then I definitely eat that because I actually have
Okay.
never eaten brains, and I bet they're actually pretty good.
Okay.
That is a disturbing presentation. And honestly, the thing that would keep me from doing it is not that I think it's like not going to be tasty, but that I might gag.
Okay.
Because it's like an open body of a creature.
Yeah.
And its organ is exposed.
It's a very
and that is-
honest-
that is very disturbing to me. But as long as I could like sort of shut that out and be like, this is just a plate shaped like a monkey and I'm eating a prepared dish, then like I think I could do it.
Okay.
I'd actually be excited about eating a brain.
Cool. So you eat the brain. It actually it's fine. It doesn't really have a lot of flavor. It's like kind of mild meat flavor.
Okay.
You know, it's okay.
So it's that
fine.
dish more about the presentation.
Yeah,
than like
yeah. You were kind of
quality.
expecting a little bit more surprise to the taste of it, but it's like just kind of fine, you know. So you eat it. It's fine.
I make a mental note of that for my review later.
Yep. And this next course is brought out by a person that a woman who looks like she's stepped out of an old movie, and not just because of what she's wearing and the way her hair and makeup is done, but because she literally looks like she is black and white.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
And
Sweet.
she gives you those dishes with the silver domes over them, you know, and very dramatically lifts the silver domes. So you each have one in front of you. It is a bowl of what looks like pasta, like noodles. It's like spaghetti noodles with some sort of unidentified vegetable type things in it.
Okay.
But the noodles are moving like worms.
Did they say what this was or no?
No,
Okay.
they don't ever tell you.
Oh, they don't ever tell you. I guess
They
I
tell you at the
assumed that it
end.
was
At the
monkey
end, they give
brain,
you a
'cause-
little card
Okay,
with
okay.
all of the descriptions
Cool.
of like what you actually consumed.
Yeah, that makes it harder.
But
actually, to
each
not
dish
know.
of this course comes with a book of how to eat fried worms.
which is just like maybe
kinda like,
this
I don't
is
know.
it. It's hard to know.
Just thought you might like to read while you're eating.
Just a little dinner entertainment for yourself. This young adult book. I said before I would like to eat bugs. I think bugs are great to eat. I don't really know how I feel about worms, and they gross me out more than eating bugs because like a crunch, much better than a slimy, like mushroomy but moving sort of texture, which really that doesn't sound tasty to me. Again, like it's hard for me not to want to try these things because they're being presented in a very fancy way, in a fancy environment. But that might get me.
Gotta eat half of it if you're gonna stay.
Eating half of it is gonna be the the real challenge if it's a bunch of worms.
I mean, it looks like pasta.
Yeah.
They're just moving like worms.
I would do what I did when I had to eat crickets. I would close my eyes and I would eat it and pretend it's pasta. It's like really overcooked pasta.
Okay.
Food moving is who.
Turns out worms, actually delicious.
I knew it.
They wriggle a little bit going down, but, you know, the human digestive system can handle it.
Yes.
All right. Next course. Everyone is given just what looks like a nice glass of milk. And they get it set down in front of them.
I hate this. No.
And you're like,
no.
All right, glass of milk, I can handle this. No. Just as you're about to take a swig, you notice across the way the diner who's sitting across the table from you, the glass of milk swirls a little bit. It seems like there may be something swimming inside the milk. And you examine your milk, but you can't really see anything inside of it because milk is opaque.
Sure is.
But you definitely think you saw something moving in there.
Oh, no.
What are you going to do, David?
This is like that horror movie where they drink water, but there's like snakes in the water. What was that movie called? Eels. They were eels, not snakes.
We watched that.
It wasn't very good. It was too long. Anyway, weird creature milk. I was scared that you were going to say, like, you look over and you see a person milking themselves into like, and
that's a bridge too far, nope. Even for me.
Oh, well, I just ate worms and I lived.
And liked it.
And I'm excited to drink what probably will just be milk. Yeah, I'm getting it. Give me that milk.
All right.
It's a tall glass, too. That sounds so nice.
It's a tall glass of milk.
Yeah. I mean, actually, a lot of milk is like kind of overwhelming. So I'm glad I only have to drink half of it.
You drink that milk. Definitely a few of those swallows felt like something was in there. But it still just tasted like a good glass of milk.
Okay.
You know. So then they bring out what seems like it's going to be like the main course. And you're expecting like something crazy and elaborate. But they look like just sandwiches and like pretty good sandwiches, you know, like artisanal, like greens and, you know, smells like cheese and like it just looks pretty good. Yeah. But you're kind of curious about what is actually on it.
Right. Obviously, they're not just sandwiches.
Right. So you pull up the bread.
No.
And there are what looks like 2 miniature human beings.
What?
A miniature human
What are they doing?
They're lifeless. They're just laying there.
They're just laying there?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
But like, they're not like, it's not a miniature human beings.
That's what it looks like.
These aren't like, these are fully formed adult human beings.
Looks like it.
But small.
Yeah.
What? It's better than babies.
No.
This is better than where I was going to go.
Okay,
so
that's fair. I would not eat that. Nope. No way. That
smells good.
Is terrifying.
Smells good,
like,
David.
It smells
good.
It smells like
and
cheese
also,
meat.
there's no such thing as miniature human beings, is there?
Yeah.
No such thing, David.
But I assume, I assume that when you say they look like miniature human beings, it's not like some hot dogs laid out to look like.
No, I mean, it's
but
convincing.
I can tell it's a different thing. It looks like an actual person.
Yes, it does.
No, I don't think I would eat it. I think
All
I'm
right.
scared that like they've done something. That mop water made me like. There's something going on here that's like pseudoscientific. They're doing some food experiments, and maybe they actually have the shrink ray from Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, and they used it. And I'm about to eat Rick Moranis. Is that his name?
He was in that movie.
I'm about to eat Rick Moranis. I don't want to eat Rick. I don't think I could do that. I think I'm too worried about them and who they are and where they came from.
Okay.
It's scary.
Your friend notices that you're hesitant to eat the human sandwich.
Yeah.
And they look over at you and they're like, David, like, you're going to get us kicked out of here. You got to eat that thing.
I'm sorry.
They take a chomp of theirs and they're like, look, it's not even that big a deal. Like, even though the human looks like a perfectly formed adult human, assuming not wearing clothes.
No, they're nude.
But like,
they were somehow.
Your
I
friend
pictured
just,
them in little suits.
Yeah, your friend just chomps right through it. And they show you the inside, and it looks just like Spam. Like, it's not like a human's internal organs.
Okay.
It's just like
no bones.
The outside of it definitely looks like a tiny little guy.
Yeah.
But the inside, spiced ham. That's what Spam is short for.
Yeah, spiced ham.
Sure. Yeah, that's what it looks like on the inside.
Okay.
You down with it?
Yeah, totally. No,
okay.
I'm putting it out of my mouth. Great. I don't want to get kicked out either.
It could still be like human
Yeah, it could
parts
be human,
ground
but like
up.
if it's like. If they've gone to that length that kind of helps dispel the illusion that it might be a real human shrunk down.
Okay.
I think enough for me to eat it.
Okay.
Again, I'm just hoping that, this is a legal place of business and that, I think that's fine.
Okay.
I think I'll put that in my mouth.
So you did it. You
did
ate it. They're like, great job. Dessert's next. And they bring out dessert, which looks honestly just like a really delicious piece of chocolate cake with ice cream. But it's served to you by a weeping Rick Moranis. He doesn't speak. He just cries.
Thank you. Next on the Hypotheticast, we are going to be talking about things that we like to recommend because it's fun. This segment is called If I Were You. Mm-hmm. We're going to recommend things, may or may not be things you can taste. Well, you can really taste anything, I guess, unless it's not a real thing.
I guess that's true.
I mean, like
I
if it's a
can't taste
concept
the
or
spirit
something.
of adventure.
Maybe you can.
I think I have.
What should we taste today?
I'll tell you. Here's what I think you should taste. I may have actually talked about this on the podcast before, so stop me if you've heard this one.
Okay.
You all know those little mints, the like pastel colored chalky mints that go in a bowl at like a graduation party or a funeral or a wedding, or like for some reason sometimes they have little sparkles. It's not sparkles. What is that called? It's not confetti. Sprinkles. Hey, thank you. Sometimes they have little white sprinkles on the outside, but sometimes they're just plain. Put some of those on a ham sandwich.
What?
I am not kidding.
Get out.
No, I'm seriously
Leave this
not
room.
kidding.
I don't like this.
It's so tasty. Think about for a second, and maybe this won't resonate with Emily because you don't like pineapple on things.
You could have done the same.
Pineapple on ham is good. Everyone agrees.
No.
It can, well, okay, a lot of people put pineapple
I'm
on
not
ham.
into it.
At least many cultures put pineapple and ham together in tacos on Thanksgiving. Like lots of people do it. It's the same sort of sweet and minty and ham taste. I promise I actually loved it.
Pineapple on ham does not have a minty taste.
No, but mint on ham also works. All I'm saying is
pineapple
sweet
is not in any way equivalent to the candy you just
No.
described.
You're right. But I'm saying sweet and ham works together, and so does minty and ham. It checks out.
I would like to recommend a flavor combination. In college, we had a party and we got a little wild, and one of my friends brought the Hawaiian sweetbread you can get at the grocery store and a spinach dip. And dipping that in the spinach dip was a great combination.
That sounds excellent.
It's not as crazy as mince on ham, but not two things I would have previously thought to put together, but it was really good. And every now and then I have some. Now you know a secret about me, guys.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna be on theme, which is weird for me, but I'm also gonna not recommend an actual food to eat, but I will recommend watching the show on Netflix, Salt, Fat, Acid, Heat. The woman who stars in the show made it, Samin Nosrat. She's kind of blew up this past year. Whatever one of those
so
you want.
Many of them.
She is like a delightful human being first and foremost. Like she's just so genuine and sweet and interesting. And I love her story. She started where like her and her boyfriend at the time when they were young and kind of poor, they saved up a bunch of money to go to this super fancy restaurant in LA, Chez Panisse. They didn't know anything about fancy food or whatever, but she loved the experience so much that she then wrote them a letter and was like, I want to work at your restaurant. So they hired her as a host. And then she just like learned about food from the chefs at this fancy restaurant. And then she just like went on this journey to learn all about food. So the Netflix show, there's like 4 episodes, one for salt, one for fat, one for acid, one for heat.
Cool.
And it examines how those elements make food taste amazing. She goes to different parts of the world. It's one of those shows like Great British Bake Off where watching it just makes you feel good. It's not like dramatic. There's not a lot of tension. Yeah. But it's just like, it's beautiful. She interviews people all over the world who specialize in making certain types of food. And she's just one of those people, like watching her eat something delicious is like just truly joyful.
Aww.
All right, friends, if you are interested in finding us on the internet, submitting thoughts, ideas, or answering supplementary hypothetical questions, you can find us on Twitter at Hypotheticast, Facebook at Hypotheticast. You could also join our super fun fan club called Hypotheticast Fan Collaboratory. You could send us an email, hypotheticast@gmail.com, or you could go to our website. How fun. Hypotheticast.club.
Yes. And you
Yes,
can also
yes.
you can also leave us a review on any place that you listen to podcasts. Reviews help us out and get the word out about us. Also, just tell friends about us or acquaintances, and they will hear what you say and possibly listen to us, and that is also a good thing. Thank you for doing it.
Thank you for doing it, Jaden James and the Hunger. And by it, I mean making a song and letting us use it. It's called Killing It, and it's from their album Raw. And thank you for doing it, Christian Hagen, for your logo that you made for us. And thank you, one last thank you for doing it to you, the listener, for doing the listening.
We're so lucky.
Yeah, we're lucky to have you.
The very last thing we're going to do is ask another question, but then there will be no questions asked after that question is asked. This segment is called No Questions Asked. Here it is. It's from that quiz that we did earlier.
Yes.
This question is, would you rather eat a burger and fries without the bun or eat a burger and bun without the fries?
What?
No more questions.
Burger and fries without the bun.
Burger and bun.
Burger and fries.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yay.
I'm marching, marching, 'cause I'm killing it. I'm killing it. I'm killing it. I'm killing it.
Oh, does that burger come with a bun? What do you want? Of course it does. God, also I like fries more than I like bun. So
I feel like a bun is essential to the burgerness.
Yeah, I could eat. I mean, I would eat a burger. We're just talking about this. We're not supposed to.
Yeah, I
but
know. This
David
is
will cut
illegal.
this
this is illegal.